All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get things kicked off here. And at the end, please stay tuned. We want to make sure that we're going to give you this information around the 90-day free trial for Webex Teams and Meetings. So I'm going to go ahead and start you all off here with what is Webex Meetings, right? So today, most businesses and organizations do not have a contingency plan in place. So if they're forced to shut down, it might take a little bit more time to keep things going. And if we do have a remote program, how do we sustain that long term? So with the Cisco Webex, we can actually provide assurance that you can rely on. Our main goal is to have employees never miss a day of work because they're sick or unable to drive to the office. I think we can all understand that, we need to keep businesses running through these times. And I think by having a solution like this in your tool set can help people remain effective. With Cisco Webex, you can also remain connected anywhere in the world where you might have an internet connection or even streaming on Wi-Fi or just on data charges alone. And you can continue that face-to-face virtual meetings anywhere and even share content. Now, if you're used to walking to the hallway like I am to speak with a coworker, you can now use your Webex personal room to instantly invite someone to a video chat or a voice chat with a single click of a button, either in the application or if you do happen to go to the web browser, you can use that option as well. In there, you can actually share your screen and show up content or even whiteboard on a project together. So if you're used to, again, going up to a whiteboard, you're able to host meetings that can do that and save those files and share it throughout your meeting. I think hosting a whiteboard session is really important with your team, and it can allow you to add comments or even annotate on a presentation or shared content. So again, if we're in a group meeting with some of my coworkers in my department or in my small group, we can annotate on a presentation virtually if I'm at my desk at home, or if my coworkers are in the office and I'm at home. Either way, we're still connected and can share that information. So sharing documents, right? Easier than ever. I'm used to, I'm sure you are too, if I have a huge file or maybe a presentation that I need to share to my entire teammates, maybe even before a meeting, I can't do that because maybe that file is over a gig or it's just a larger file. With Webex Teams, which I'll show you here in a minute, I can upload any file, even an MP4 file, so if I have a video or any kind of content that generally would have to be used in a Dropbox or a SharePoint, Webex Teams allows you to do that easily. So Cisco Webex is a robust platform that's going to allow integrations with our commonly used day-to-day applications. So for those of you who are using Outlook, Gmail, Office 365, no issues here. Webex can go ahead and integrate that. So you could schedule a meeting through your email accounts and even upload content to your SharePoint or Google Drive within the Webex Teams application. You can see here this gentleman saying, hey, have you heard about OneDrive cloud storage? No worries, I can actually go into this update link right here. Now, typically, you're going to upload a file from your computer, but you can also share something from a SharePoint or your Google Drive, whatever you have set up, and our team of engineers and our customer success team can help you find the value in that, and again, sharing best practices and training as well. Now, if you want to integrate some of your own apps, no problem. If you have developers, you can do that as well. The great thing about Webex is we actually do have a Webex developer community, so they can post chats in there, ask different questions, and there also is a Webex Meetings API hub, so you can actually browse other integrations that currently exist to make sure your organization can continue to run smooth and there's no interruptions. I do want to reiterate that, this Webex app, the API hub, is also location to pre-built out-of-the-box integrations that you and your team can start using today. So if there is some issues around, integrations, or maybe you don't have a developer on hand, that's not an issue. This API hub is just a simple way where you can go ahead and integrate things like what you see on the screen here, right? Your Office 365 applications, maybe Salesforce, Outlook, or even Gmail. Now, for those of you who are working at home currently, right, or even this is something that's on the roadmap within this week or in the coming days, in every organization, you may have employees who need to find more, efficient ways to work through and maneuver through Webex, right? I know there's a few issues with, hey, how do we make sure that our employees, when they are home, they know how to use this technology? So I think something that's really powerful that we've even experienced here at DSI is that you have the access to remote control employees' PCs or Macs by using Webex Teams. This is a huge feature that you all can start using today once you download the applications. But, we can all see how this could be used in a scenario where, let's say, I join a Webex personal room that's sent by one of my IT staff. It's like, hey, you know what? I don't even know how to start beginning to download Webex Teams or Webex Meetings. No worries. I can send you a link. You can check that in your email. I can join that meeting. My remote employee or my remote IT manager or IT personnel, they can go ahead and send a consent to that individual where they can go ahead and control that person's screen down to the mouse click, right? So I can actually open up their browser. I can go ahead and download the Webex Teams application. And if I had time, I could even teach that individual how to use basic functionality around Webex Teams or meetings. I talk to a lot of, cities and federal agencies who, they tell me day in and day out, Alex, I don't know if this is going to be effective for my team because we don't know how quickly they can get set up, and we don't even know if they can even go down to download this application. So you're not going to have to worry about that with Webex Teams and this remote control manager. And again, during our trainings that we're going to be hosting tomorrow, as in Wednesday and next Wednesday, we are going to showcase that functionality. So I really do encourage you all to join that webinar. And again, I will be sharing that information after this meeting. All right, so now I'm going to do a quick deep dive into Webex Meetings, Webex Training, and Webex Teams. Now, keep in mind, I will be sharing in that deployment kit I was telling you about a use case guide. So it's like, hey, when do I use Webex Meetings? When do I use Webex Training? And then how am I going to use Webex Teams efficiently in my organization? I do have a document provided for that. So again, if you are a new user, it's not going to be an issue. You can go ahead and see how this is going to relate to your organization, how we can get that working for you. So first off, I want to go ahead and share this. With Webex Meetings, you can host a meeting with your colleagues or external individuals from your organization, right? Webex is going to allow you the functionality and flexibility to share content with the click of a button. And also, it's super user-friendly. You can see here, I've got the ability to mute, turn on my video, share content, look at who my participants are. If they have video, that's all going to be down here in the bottom part of the screen. I can go ahead and chat with those individuals. Or here, I can go ahead and connect to an endpoint. Maybe I need to record my meeting or other simple inputs. I can go ahead and find that easily right there. If you don't want to use these quick access buttons, not a problem. You can go ahead and look at the top of your toolbar here, and it has these easy to read drop-down buttons right there. I don't want to go into too much detail because it is a very simple platform, as you can see here. You can hide the video if you want to. You can make it a very simple application and dashboard. Whatever you want to do, that's totally fine. And then additionally, in this little icon right here, if you have someone who's asking about different information about, hey, how do I get into this meeting? What's this information? I can do that here. Or I could also go to participants, and I can go ahead and remind individuals to join my meeting. So let's say I'm using my Webex Meetings right now to do a deep dive or maybe even a quick huddle meeting with some of my department members or my group. I can actually go ahead and send an instant reminder to say, hey guys, it's 2:07. We need you guys to hop in this meeting real quick. You can go ahead and send that upload or that invite very quickly and efficiently with that reminder icon. I do want to keep in mind that something that I love about Webex Teams and Webex Meetings, when I'm sending out these invites, right, something that I'm sure you all are familiar with in the past is, if I'm having to join a different collaboration endpoint or a different collaboration product, I'm having to download any kind of plugin, or maybe I'm having to download something, or I'm required to go to a certain browser. With Webex Meetings and Teams, on the meeting side, there are no plugins. I don't need to be an active member of Webex to join my meeting. So for instance, if I'm a department head and I don't need my employees to actually host their own meetings or create their own meetings, they don't need a license necessarily. They could simply join my meeting with a click of a button, and they can even have Webex Meetings downloaded on their computer still for easy access. Now, that being said, for those users who are looking to use Webex Teams, which is more of the message platform, they will need their own license, which we will be sharing later. So Webex Training, right? This is something you all can use in the office to host trainings, webinars, which is what we're doing right now, or any external or internal certifications that you might have. So under the attendee tab, you can see who's paying attention. If someone raises their hand, you can also get that information. Looking at this icon here, if I'm an attendee, I can say, hey everybody, are you all following, or do we need any stopping points? Do you need a break? Your attendees can say yes. They can say no. They can also go over to here with this little announcement icon is, I can actually tell my speaker to slow down, or could you repeat that, without actually having to interrupt the conversation and keep conversation flowing. I could also chat to all my participants, or maybe a single participant. I could even participate in a Q&A in a chat session. So all these different functionalities within Webex training is something that you could efficiently use internally to make sure your meetings are running efficiently. And again, you know, here at DSI, we have an internal Webex training certification. So I could actually create a test and send that out to my attendees after a training session, which will then link them out to a separate window to complete a test. And then I can get those correct answers, those grades after the fact is concluded. Again, this is something we're sharing how to do on our trainings every Wednesday. With that, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys Webex Teams and explain some basic functionality that I think will really help your team out as far as working from home and staying connected. So this right here is the data that we see today. The status and preferences. If I'm working remotely, I could actually go ahead and click on my picture and change that I'm working remotely, or I'm traveling, or I'm out of the office. I could also put a do not disturb. So if I'm going to be in a meeting for 45 minutes and I don't want any interruptions, I can make sure my employees or anyone externally or internally can see that I'm not available. I can access my team spaces. So right here, we've got competitor research, right? And that's within our marketing team. Or maybe I have some other things set up, like an HR department, or my SLED team, or my federal team, or maybe any other internal programs or teams that you might have. I can set up a personal group for those individuals. Now, when I'm clicking into these teams, see here, I'm actually looking at the competitor research page. And I've got Karen Adamson here sharing content with all of her teammates. She can message them individually. She can host a whiteboard session. She can schedule a team meeting if she wants to. I can access and see all the people in my group space. And then if I have any file all the way back from 10 years or till yesterday, I can actually see that information here. And I can go ahead and search by keywords or filters through messages within spaces, or even file names, which is a great way to be able to file and organize your data. I know me personally, all of my presentations that I've given for my customers, I have my own impact presentation team space. So if anything goes down, I can go ahead and access that information right there on any device that's connected with this app. I want to preface that you can actually search for colleagues in your organization, or even message external users. Now, keep in mind, you can turn that functionality off if you'd want to. So if you don't want people to be able to search your internal employees, that's not an issue. You can go ahead and get that fixed and corrected, and we can show you how to do that. We do have groups here at DSI that we use every day to include announcements, where only moderators can go ahead and send out company-wide messages. So if there's any closures or any kind of important information, town halls, I can go ahead and put that message out in a message format, so all my people can get that down the road, or just click on it at their leisure. And then we also have a group right now, especially with this remote access, something to keep in mind as a best practice when you are starting to roll out a remote work program or telework preferences. You can go ahead and act like DSI and set up a remote employees Q&A. So we actually have all of our employees right now who can go ahead and submit a question like, hey everyone, I'm having issues connecting to our global network, or I'm having connection issues. I'm having issues connecting to our email. And then all of our engineers right now are in that space and can one-off message them, or they can go ahead and put the answers in that team space so that other people who might run into that issue could also look at that up and go ahead and self-correct and self-help. It's a great way to keep people connected. And again, when we're starting to see all these individuals going remote, how quickly we can get everyone on the same page and not have to worry about a waiting queue, right? Like if I know how to correct an issue, even though I'm not an engineer, I can go ahead and assist other people who might need that help. Within Webex Teams, you can also see here in this example that there is a space for competitors, right? Again, that I can say an agenda, development agenda. You can make as many spaces as you want and add as many people to those spaces as you want. I wanted to share something that I've done. This is an example of the city of Ashburn, right? You could have a finance department, human resources, IT department, and public works. And then I can go ahead and, as I mentioned here, add files, add people, add links to these different spaces. So again, please take advantage of this, and we can help you as far as best practices and how to set this up for your own internal network, and then how you guys can stay connected. And I think one of the great things to point out here. If I'm part of the finance department, or maybe I'm, even, broken down below the finance department, I have a team of 5, I can go ahead and create a space here. And if you notice this green button at the top of your screen here, that is an instant chat feature where I could, after clicking on finance department, and then I click on here, I can instantly video chat or video call or just even a regular audio call with every single person in that group, up to 1,000 people. So if we're having a quick, meeting where it's like an emergency and I need to get everyone on the same page, I could simply click on human resources, or you can have a company-wide space. Click here, and then if I'm at my desk, or maybe I've gotten up to go to the break room and I have Webex Teams on my cell phone, not a problem. I'm going to get a notification. It's going to automatically try to connect my video or audio, depending on how the meeting was set up, to my cell phone. So again, I'm connecting everybody at in an emergency fashion, or if it's just a quick huddle meeting that we want to make sure everyone can join. The whole issue here is to make sure people are staying connected in any fashion, whether they've gotten up from their desk, whether they're working remotely, or maybe they've just left their computer for a few minutes. I did feel it was kind of important to talk about some key differentiators on different platforms, whether it be Microsoft Teams and Slack, because there are a bunch of collaboration platforms out there for you to choose from. I do want to preference and share a few differentiators that I thought were important. First, keeping spaces in a single view and not having to toggle between external groups is huge. You can easily access external spaces in Teams, and it's going to show up to outside people from your organization or other companies. So for instance, we do a lot of business with our account teams, whether it be Cisco or even different cities and federal agencies that we work with. I could simply keep an open chain of command and an open communication line with those individuals, even though they don't work at DSI. So if I want to work with any kind of federal agency or any city or county government, I can work with those individuals by just simply having a team space connected. And if they say, hey, Alex, we're trying to roll out this program with us, could you help us? Maybe I'm not looking at my email, but I'm surely going to get that pop-up notification as I would a text, and I can easily respond and maybe even host a quick impromptu meeting with that team member. So that's something to really keep focused here. I can also maintain data policy, right? So if I have any kind of compliance measures that I want to make sure that we're organizing, using e-discovery, I can go ahead and set up my external and internal policies within Webex Teams. Native support for external video users is also included in this. So I can use Skype or any other platform that's covered by Webex. I can go ahead and make sure I'm supporting video for those customers, which is kind of nice. I could also use existing on-premise calling systems with Webex services, which is going to keep costs low. I don't need to buy new cell phones. I don't need to buy new PBX devices on site to work with our existing Webex suite. All those devices are going to work and integrated. So for example, how we have things set up at DSI, if somebody calls my desk phone right now, it is a Cisco desk phone, but that desk phone is going to automatically send that call to my Webex Teams because I'm not in the office right now. I went ahead and set that up. Or maybe I have a non-Cisco brand phone. You could still have it set up where it's going to go straight to my cell phone or my tablet or whatever device I'd like that Webex call to go to. Now getting to the fun part, I want to talk to you all really quickly while we have a few minutes left about what this free trial offers. We are going to see up to 50 free licenses with this 90-day trial. So keep in mind, as I mentioned earlier, you only need a license to host a meeting with attendees who are not planning on hosting a meeting. So if I'm a manager or if I know I'm going to be hosting a meeting, I can consume one of those 50 licenses. We also have unlimited usage, so there's going to be no time limits. I can support up to 100 participants per session. We are offering toll dial-in and also free VoIP calling. And then DSI, as I mentioned, is going to be hosting weekly trainings for all new users. So if you want to bring people to this meeting, please go ahead and do so. We want to get people trained as quickly as possible so you can start promoting your telework programs. Webex calling is also going to allow your desk phone, as I mentioned, to transfer calls to your Webex device, whether it be your cell phone or computer, so you can answer that call remotely. And then I also want to link again that following this webinar, we do have a coronavirus information site where we will be collecting some information from you so we can set up your trial account and you can access those different pages. As I mentioned, we also do have a deployment kit And I think that deployment kit is something that's going to be super effective for you all. As I mentioned, day one kit. So, hey, I actually have templates here with we're moving over to Webex or we're going to start teleworking. For those of you who might know people in the education spaces, we've even gone down to creating consent forms to parents, right, to make sure that their students are allowing their teachers to communicate with them via collaboration devices. That may not affect you, but just to show you the context that we have, all the way down to you know, photoshopped web banners you can put on email templates, anything that you might want to put in to drive people to these initiatives to telework, we've got you covered, and it is in those deployment guides. Now, we do have 2 minutes left in this webinar, but I do want to make sure that we're getting this information to you and sharing that with this webinar and this offering, I want to make sure that if you have any questions whatsoever, or if you want to see how this can directly be affected by you and how I can personally help you and your organization implement a remote telework instance, please, by all means, send me an email at impact@dsitech.com, or you can go ahead and call me at 571-707-3612. We can get you set up. And as I mentioned, I am the customer success manager here at DSI, and I'm looking forward to working with all of you on a one-on-one basis to make sure we can deploy this in your organization as quickly as possible. And please, after this webinar, go ahead and go to dsitech.com/events/coronavirus-webinars, and you can go ahead and find that deployment kit. And here in a few minutes, I'm going to go ahead and start sending information to you all individually as quickly as possible to set you up with your trial version of Webex Teams, meetings, and Webex calling. And with that, I'm going to leave this page up here for you all to access this content. Feel free to open it in your browser right now. And if you have time, go ahead and email me so I have your information and I can get this sent over to you as quickly as possible. On behalf of DSI and everyone here that, you know, is helping promote teleworking, I really do appreciate your time. We all need to kind of band together and find effective ways to keep our businesses running, whether it is a city government, a federal agency. We want to make sure we're extending these tools to you, and you know, be safe out there, everyone, and please take care of everyone around you. Thank you so much for your time. All right, everyone, I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting here soon, but if you do have any questions or concerns, go ahead and put that in the chat right now, and I can go ahead and reach out to you on an individual basis. Again, any questions, comments, or concerns, please go ahead and email me directly at impact@dsitech.com, and our team of customer success specialists over here will go ahead and make sure you all are taken care of. I know, again, a lot of you are under a short time constraint to get these remote programs taken care of. So we want to make sure we are doing everything in our power to provide you successful implementation of a telework solution and keeping everything running business as usual within your teams. And again, with that, direct yourself to this link down here at the bottom of the screen. Shortly, we are going to be uploading that deployment government kit. And I really do appreciate everybody for attending today's webinar. We will have a similar webinar next Tuesday at the same time. And if you know any individuals in the education space, we are hosting a webinar this Thursday at 2 p.m. That they could also follow this link to get information around. We do have a whole offering on our web education and higher ed individuals as well. Again, just trying to reach as many people as possible and doing our due diligence. So please, by all means, share this wealth of information with those around you. And again, stay safe and take care, everyone. Have a good day.